What is up, viewers? Welcome back to another episode of Building Anaxes in LEGO. Today we have week number 11 of the series. You guys recall last week I unfortunately had to put the episode on hold. I didn't get the parts that I wanted to in, and unfortunately this week was also the first week of my college starting up again for classes, so the progress is going to be not as much as I wanted to get done, but it's still going to be a really fun episode. Of course, if you guys do enjoy, go ahead and drop a like down below and subscribe if you guys are new. Make sure you stay up to date with all these videos coming out. Now, of course, before we go ahead and get any further, I do want to give a huge thank you to our series sponsors. In no particular order, we have number one, Brick Stuff. You guys know Rob and his company, Brick Stuff. They make some of the most epic, awesome third-party custom light-up kits for your own sets or even stuff that you can use in your own mocks. I'll be using a whole bunch of them when the finale comes around, so make sure you guys go ahead and check out brickstuff.com. Link down below in the description. Use coupon code TBW10 to save some money off your own order. And last but certainly not least, we have minifigs for you. You all know David Hall, Solid Brick Studios minifig company, has generously supplied the Bad Batch squad to the mock to be used in the finale and on showcase when it's at conventions. So definitely go ahead and check out the Bad Batch and a lot of other custom figures at minifigsforyou.com. So what does Building Anaxes in LEGO Week 11 have in store for you guys? Well, like I said before, last week I missed a whole bunch of orders. They just weren't arriving on time. It took someone like 6 days to ship out a package, and unfortunately I just didn't have enough time, so I was still waiting for some more pieces, and this week yet again packages were late. I have no idea what it was. Something must have been going on with UPS, but I didn't have enough time to work on the entirety of the back corner walls. In fact, I wanted to get both walls entirely done for this week, but it just wasn't a reality. I did get both structured probably about a third of the way up, so we definitely got some good progress. It's going to be a goal for next week, but of course I'll talk about that later. What is more exciting, at least in my opinion, is we got the plant tree leaves done. If you guys remember, a couple of weeks ago I did show you the idea that I had going for the Anaxes plant tree created by Lee or Brick Builder Studios, and I did end up going with his design. I got 7 of them and I lined the entire front section of the fort with it, and it looks really cool. It's definitely a nice change in scenery as opposed to just seeing gray and just like trans clear river. We finally have some color and some tone going on, and so of course as this video progresses I'll explain a lot about that and everything going on in terms of those plant tree leaves. So in the end, 2 things that we got done this week are going to be the back 2 corner walls, which is actually going to be pretty helpful in the sense that we can now finally get a really good picture as to what the entire fort's going to be in terms of size. So I can finally start going into Studio and LDD and start to really create some of those buildings that I'll be utilizing, like the barracks and the med bay and all that kind of stuff. So, and then last but not least, we do have those plant trees to go over. But enough for me talking. Let's go ahead and jump to some time lapse of me working on both parts of the mock for this week. So here are the time lapses for the progress that we got done this week. Of course, if you guys like these time lapses, let me know down below. I love doing them and showing you guys the build process. But here you guys can see I am working on those plant tree leaves. Now, it was a little bit difficult and definitely challenging because I hadn't built these yet. This isn't like an official Lego model or anything like that. It was really just something my friend put together. So it was difficult trying to put everything together. The connection between the stem and the flower still isn't optimized. It's something I'm going to have to go back and sort of rework because it's not necessarily the strongest one. But I basically just built all the trees here, and then I also did get some progress done with the wall. Now, like I said before, and like I will say in the video, a lot of the part orders came in late this week, and I would rather work 2 or 3 days on both of these wall sections and getting them done. But unfortunately, I really only had a couple of hours. So that's kind of why both the wall sections weren't done. Of course, I do have work this entire weekend, so that also is a bummer. I would have loved to get a little bit more progress done, but nonetheless, we do have all the parts on hand to get them both done for next week. But of course, drop a like for these time lapses. Hope you guys enjoyed. Alrighty, so let's talk a little bit about what we got done for this week. I'll work on this section last. The biggest thing we got done this week in terms of actual physical presence is actually going to be starting up these last 2 corner walls. Now, this area is a rough estimate as to where the corner walls will end up. So essentially, if you get an overhead view of everything we got going on here, this is the space that we have to work with for the actual fort. Now, it was a little bit difficult getting these parts in. For some reason, this order literally came like the day before this video is actually releasing, so it was really, really annoying. I would have loved to get more progress done with these back section walls, but honestly, this is still a really good amount of progress because now we get a really good sense as to how large the actual fort's going to be. So we have an area, a defined rectangle to actually work with. So now this landing pad right here is going to be moved over a little bit just to make some more room. But you can see here we're going to have all this room to work with. So we're going to have barrack there, shield generator, landing pad, and medical bay. So this is kind of what it's looking like right now. Again, I apologize. I know I sort of hyped up my progress for this week, and then between this being the first week of school starting and then obviously having these orders being delayed until literally the last moment, I was not able to get nearly as much stuff as I would have liked to have done. So in terms of like the back section walls, this is it. Now the goal for next week is to actually build up the entire sides of the walls like this at least, so that way I can actually put up these back two corner walls completed, might I add, onto these like actual leveled areas, so it's all going to look like it flows seamlessly. And then the idea is to lay out the rest of the wall in terms of the side panels right here, because this is all going to be one panel right here for the wall. So again, the idea is to raise up the, I guess, the foundation of the wall, and then basically having that go around the entire area of the mock for the fort walls, and that way it's going to give us a really good idea as to what we're going to have to deal with. So again, we got these back two corner walls. It's roughly estimated as to where it's going to go. I think it's probably going to end up going around here about halfway through the second to last base plate. That way we have essentially a little bit of room, and then the mountain's going to basically just be starting right there. So now moving on to the more important stuff, and honestly what I'm most excited for to show you guys is going to be the flower plant trees that we got. Now you guys know I introduced this design last week or the week before. This is a buddy of mine, Lee Brick Builder Studios. He did end up making this design, and I gotta say, I am very, very pleased with how it actually came out. So I did spend a lot of time on the live stream trying to figure it out. We did run into some issues here, and you can see there are still a couple of things that do still need to be fixed. But the main benefit of actually having this entire area done right here is there's finally some more color. It used to look so bland and so boring, and might I add, this is definitely not the finished area, if that makes sense. Like, we still have a lot more smaller trees to go through and get some smaller bushes and leaves and just other terrain down in this area, just to bring it more to life. But honestly, this is looking really cool. I like the contrast of the red with the dark gray and the light bluish gray base wall. So this entire section is looking really cool. Of course, we got a couple of guys there doing their routine patrol, which is kind of cool to see. But the trees came together pretty well. There were some issues getting them done. Now, I do, of course, want to spend time talking a little bit about actually what parts were used for the tree. Basically, each tree has 5 2x2 round black bricks. Now, I do want to also add a variation in height, so that might be different and subject to change. But you guys can see the amount of parts that are used now. Now, inside this entire thing is a hose. I think it's like a, I forget what exact length the hose is, but basically it allows it to be flexed a little bit. Now, the connection, unfortunately, isn't the greatest, and I think we're going to try and find a way to work that better, so that way I could add a little bit more realistic, if that makes sense, ways and methods for the plant tree to bend and curve and just make it look more natural. I think me and Lee are going to have to work on finding a better solution. But in terms of what it's adding to the front, I think it definitely does the job. And if you look at the actual plant trees, this is kind of really what it's all about. I'm really happy with this design. Go check out Lee down below in the description. And now the idea is to pretty much maybe get 1 or 2 more trees for this front section, and then we're gonna have probably the same exact ones outside the back wall before the base wall itself. Like you can imagine, there's gonna be a big base wall, a mountain, and a giant door, and then we're gonna have some more of these trees basically between the corner wall and then that mountain. All that being said, really there's nothing too much more to talk about. I know I did not get nearly as much progress as I would have liked to done this week. Basically, like I said before, a combination of school, late packages, and I've work both days of the weekend, so it makes it definitely a little bit more challenging to get more work done. However, next week I'm almost completely off of work, so basically, like I said, we're going to be getting a lot of wall progress done, getting that out of the way, because honestly, it's getting boring. Like, as much as I love the wall, as much as I think it looks really cool, like getting this overhead shot of everything, the watchtower, the plant trees, the wall, like the wall's definitely a really cool aspect, but I'm getting tired of building the wall. Like, I just want to finally move on to the buildings and all the other stuff in the mountain. So we are definitely getting towards that point. We are sort of in like the last leg of maybe like the first, I don't know, the first third of this project, and I think it's going to kind of be smooth sailing from here on out as soon as we finish the wall and stuff like that. So again, I apologize for not having too much done this week, but I think that this definitely warrants an update. These plant trees are really cool. Let me know what you guys think about them. I think they add a great texture, a great color differentiation in the mock, and of course a great opportunity for some really cool photos. So that's always a plus. But that's going to kind of wrap up this part of the video. Again, let me know how it's coming along. I think it's definitely coming along great. Now that we have the back section of the walls, at the very least started, we can get a realistic sense as to where everything's going, how it's going to fit off and stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the progress for this week. Of course, drop a like if you did. And let's go ahead and head on to the outro of today's video. So guys, that's going to wrap up building Anaxes in LEGO week number 11. I hope you all enjoyed. And now really quickly, I do want to take the time to talk a little bit about real life stuff going on. I do have college. It just started up. I am a full-time student, so I am still working a part-time job. So I'm going to really try my best to keep this updates coming with enough progress. I'm going to spend a lot of time this week getting as much as I can done because this week, fortunately, I'm just not working as much. So I'm going to definitely try my hardest to get a lot of progress going. I'm still shooting for that December 25th Christmas Day finale release. I'm not sure how that's going to go out. I think we still have a lot of work to do despite all the great progress we've had so far. So I'm still planning for that, but again, like I said, I do have college classes starting up again, so it's probably going to take me another week or two to try to figure out how my schedule fits and what works best in terms of making videos and keeping the updates coming out on a weekly basis. But just as a heads up, in the next week or two, if something happens where I have to skip another segment or get a little less progress than the normal, just kind of cut me some slack and bear with me as I figure out what works best. But other than that, I hope you guys did really enjoy this segment. Like I said, getting that back corner wall or both of the corner walls done is pretty important because now, like I said, I can finally get some more progress in terms of the barracks and all the structures for inside the fort, which is honestly what I've been waiting for. I mean, walls are cool to build and the outside is cool, but I want to get to building the buildings. I want to get to building the barracks and the bunks and all this cool stuff. So we definitely got a lot of fun stuff ahead of us, and I'm really excited for where this video series is going. Now, of course, I do want to give a huge thank you to this week's donors. We do have Tyler the Clone, we have SW Bricks, and a huge whopping $400 super chat donation from Snowball. So thank you guys so much. You guys have gone above and beyond with your donations, and those donations upon request are actually going to be going towards a UCS Star Destroyer, which you guys might be seeing very soon on the channel, so definitely stay subscribed and stay up to date with all these videos. But the live streams that I do every single week are super fun, and of course, when you guys donate, it just makes my day, honestly. So definitely, if you're free, come on, tune in for those live streams. It's a lot of fun. Of course, you can see the progress before anyone else does on these weekly series coming every Saturday, so you guys can see that progress earlier before everyone else does. So a few closing remarks here as we close out the episode. We have a lot of great stuff going on right now, lots of good progress, but there's still a long road ahead of us, and I'm really still very motivated, which is really good at this point. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching. Of course, like I said before, drop a like down below if you guys did enjoy this segment, and subscribe if you guys are brand new to the channel. Make sure you go ahead and click that bell icon. You guys are not going to miss any of these videos coming out. Also, a quick shout out to everyone who's been supporting my channel recently. I don't know what's been going on, but the growth in terms of subscribers and views has gone up pretty noticeably. So whatever I am doing, I'm going to continue doing that to the best of my ability, and whatever you guys are doing, definitely go ahead and continue that as well. But that's going to be it. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Take it easy.